to our notes on introducing integers. Today we're going to be talking about integers more in depth, and we're going to be talking about some other key vocabulary that's going to help us better understand integers. So let's go ahead and get started with some key ideas. So first, let's do a refresher about what integers are. So a few things that we need to remember about integers is remember they are numbers that can be both positive and negative. They are whole numbers and their opposites, and they cannot have fractions or decimals. So no fractions or decimals when it comes to integers. So some examples that we can draw in here, we've got -9, 2, -2, 3, 8. These are all integers because they're not fractions, they're not decimals, they're either positive or they're negative. They're whole numbers and they're opposites in the case of 2 and -2. Are these the only examples I could have chosen? Absolutely not, but this is a good range of examples to show us what integers are. Let's go ahead and move on to the next key idea. In our next key idea, we're going to be talking about what opposites are. Opposites are numbers that have the same absolute value. And a little preview about what absolute value means is its distance from 0 on the number line. So some examples of this would be 3 and -3. They're opposites of each other, +3 and -3, but they're the same distance from 0. One is going 3 spaces to the right, and one is going 3 spaces to the left. They're the same distance from 0 on the number line, so they are opposites. Other examples would be things like 9 and -9, 178 and -178, even -1001 and 1001. They are opposites because they're the same distance from 0. Even though one is positive, one is negative, that makes them opposites, but they are the same distance from 0. Now let's take a look at some key terms. Now, sometimes when we talk about integers, we're going to be talking about integers involving word problems. So when we talk about integers involving word problems, we're going to have to know words that mean things like positive and negative to know whether our numbers that we need to write down when we're completing those problems are positive numbers or negative numbers. So we're going to figure out some words for that. So some examples of positives, for example, if you're talking about something going forward, if you're talking about above ground, if you're talking about a gain, like in football, if you were to gain yardage. If you were going up, that would be positive. Some more terms for positive is an increase or a deposit. If you're going to put money in the bank, you're depositing it. That's a positive thing when you get to put your money in the bank. On the right of the number line, earning money. Obviously, that's a positive thing to always earn money. Profit. If you're a business and you're making money, that's a profit. That's a positive thing. And then income, that's the money that you make that you get to take home. That's your income. Again, a positive thing to take money home. These are our terms for positive. If this went too quickly for you, you want to go ahead and pause the video now so that you can write all of these terms down in that box. You don't want to miss any of them. They're key terms. You want to make sure that you have them all. So go ahead and pause the video now. Make sure you've gotten them all written down and then press play again so that we can hear about the negatives. Okay, hopefully you've recorded all the positive key terms. So now let's talk about things that are negative. So negative examples would be backwards or going below. A loss, like a loss in yardage or a loss of money, that's a negative thing. Down would be negative. A decrease, this should say withdraw instead of deposit. So we're going to go ahead and fix that right now because a withdrawal is when you take money from the bank. And that's, again, a negative thing. When you withdraw money out and you have to give it to somebody else, that's a negative experience. And then loss, again, a loss of money, or debt. If you are going into debt, that means that you owe people more money than you currently have. Those are all negative terms. All right, go ahead and make sure that you have all the positive terms and all the negative terms written down. If you don't, you want to go ahead and pause the video that you can have them all up on the screen and copy them down very quickly. But this brings us to the end of this short video on the introduction of integers. If you like this video, go ahead and throw us a thumbs up. If you love this video, go ahead and throw us a sub, and we will see you in the next one.